So just before we get going here, I'm going to be using some other material here under fair use that I'm repackaging with comment and for commentary and criticism. If you don't agree with fair use practices, please don't proceed and go somewhere else and have a nice day. Otherwise, stick around for the ride. So many folks around here on YouTube are familiar with Casey Neistat, and he put out a video that in a nutshell said this.
I want to end this by calling out all the big YouTubers. Some I know and some you viewers might know. See, making videos like this, they're not popular, they're not going to get you subscribers, they're not going to boost your view counts. But there is something much more valuable than subscribers or dollars, and that's backbone. That is not being scared to stand up for what is right, regardless of the cost.
And so I want to follow up on Casey's thought and demonstrate my backbone and talk about my voting intentions right now. Now, initially, off the bat, you're probably thinking I'm going to be talking about donkey or an elephant, but nope, nope. I'm talking about something more important to people who watch videos like I usually make here on my story here is picked up, has been seen on Garage Journal, which is where I first saw it. It's been on Reddit, it's been on Jalopnik, and a number of other sites around the internet. So my vote is for this man, Mr. Williams. The local newspaper in Sussex County, Delaware, has brought us a story of this gentleman who loves working on cars, built the garage you see in the background, and unfortunately has been met with some resistance. Some of the resistance even going so far as sending him essentially death threats for what he's quote-unquote done. So let's do a couple little clips in his own words of what this gentleman does on his property in his garage.
My goal here in this garage is to work with my friends that need a window regulator repaired on their car. So we don't exchange money. There's nothing going on here illegal. Their claim is they want the building torn down to 900 square feet. They want the judge to issue an injunction so that I can't even come in and out of my own garage doors, and that they want everything stop the things that me and my friends do.
So that's pretty cool. And then he's also got some neighbors. These are two of them. But there's a third neighbor who I don't have a photo of that probably ordinarily nice people. And you would think that they're great neighbors. However, these neighbors actually found an attorney and seemed to be taking issue with what Mr. Williams is doing in his garage and have served him with a lawsuit and are trying to get him to cease and desist working on cars with his friends in his garage.
Well, how far are you willing to pursue this?
We're taking it all as far
We're
as we
taking
can.
it all the way to the Supreme Court.
The resolve in this will be when a judge slams his gavel down and said enough is enough.
And so I don't want to cover all the facts here. I'm going to put links below so you can read in more detail about this, but just some thoughts to consider on this story. The first thing from my research here is it seems like Mr. Williams sold land to at least one or two of the plaintiffs off of his property, which included what is now their house. And so some of these folks actually dealt with them, or at least an attorney or some sort of process, and was aware of what was going on of working with Mr. Williams when the property was first purchased. Maybe there was a real estate agent involved, but it's also unclear if intentions to build the garage, which was built based on the proceeds of the land sales, was communicated to any of the property owners. Don't know. I don't know what the legal requirements are if he had to disclose what he was going to be doing or not. He also lives in an unincorporated area of the county. There's not any local HOAs that apply to him specifically. As part of the land sale, he ended up with a shared driveway easement that relates to at least one of the plaintiffs, possibly two. I'm not completely sure about that. And perhaps maybe that relates to this where there's a shared driveway, and that's been discussed in some of the court filings that I've looked over. It's also important to point out here that it's an interesting how in today's throwaway society, how many people don't understand how things work, don't want to take apart just basic everyday things, aren't interested in building things. They want to pay someone to go fix their problems for them or throw it away and buy a new one. And if you're into my videos on YouTube and other similar folks, a lot of folks out here like us, we enjoy working on things. We enjoy knowing how things work and having that detailed knowledge of how we can do it ourselves, and we take pride in our work, and there's something to be said for that. You know, whether you wear a white collar, a blue collar, whatever collar you wear at work, many folks enjoy the satisfaction, the technical persistence it requires to be able to accomplish everyday projects, take it apart. But there's a large part of society that, for whatever reason, looks beyond that and doesn't enjoy how things work and just wants to move on to the next thing, throw it away, and is into absurd consumerism. Now, in all fairness, some of us are probably into some absurd consumerism about buying tools, but that's a whole subject for a whole separate video. And so, as a result of the building of this gentleman's garage, there seems to maybe possibly an issue of the square footage of the size of the garage related to the zoning ordinances. And there's some debate whether or not, and especially the debate is relevant because the local zoning and code enforcement people that Mr. Williams has spoken with have apparently actually cleared him and approved him for his land use as it is right now. He even went so far as to try to get a garage or a shop permit to make this litigation all go away, but was denied because the zoning is already correct for what he's doing on his own property. And so ultimately, this seems to be a clear case of the not in my backyard litigants that just don't understand what it's like to live next to folks, what it's like to live out in an unincorporated part of the county. I live in an unincorporated part of Illinois, and some folks just don't understand that. And perhaps many of these litigants got in over their head living in the county and probably, quite frankly, belong living in an HOA managed subdivision somewhere in a city where maybe they don't even have to do their own mowing or let alone do their own work, and then they can be amongst their own kind to do their own thing. It's sad, and I wish these people had better things to do with their time, but it seems like, from everything I can tell, he's following the local zoning, the local ordinances, and has everything behind him, and is unfortunately caught in a legal battle, which is absurd and ridiculous. And I'm not the only one that thinks it's absurd and ridiculous. And so ultimately, going back to what Casey Neistat was asking about who I would vote for, in this contentious election cycle, I think I would vote for Mr. Williams in this case. Here's a gentleman who has been faced with an unfortunate personal disability, has made the most of his life, has a hobby that he enjoys, and clearly he's got a passion for it that you have to respect for what he's doing and his technical knowledge and know-how, and is not letting any issue of disability or anything get in his way of trying to do what he enjoys. And it doesn't seem like he's got any other troubles on either side of the aisle. And so if I could vote for this guy, I think I would hand my vote to Mr. Williams. But because his name will not be appearing on my ballot, the next best thing is to support his legal efforts on the GoFundMe site, which I'll link to below. And I would encourage everyone who's watching this video to be able to go check out the articles I linked to below. And if you're so moved, go ahead and donate to his GoFundMe campaign. And just as a disclaimer, I'm not being paid to do this. I don't know the gentleman other than what I can read, and I'm extremely sympathetic to his cause, and would encourage anyone else to read it, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and if you feel moved to make a donation, so be it. And I hope this video leaves you more informed about what's going on, and I just want to share this with you. And I hope you found this interesting, and have a great day. Bye.